Hello and welcome to Dreambound. This is the demo for a boys love mystery visual novel that is being made by the same devs that brought us The Divine Speaker. So my expectations are kind of high. Also, this demo is apparently a long one again. I'm not going to attempt to finish it today. The full game will have 3 love interests as well as escape room sections. I'm really curious about those. Apparently some people already had problems with them, so the devs provided a walkthrough that I've downloaded just in case we get stuck, but fingers crossed. As far as content warnings go, the shop page lists depression, suicide and murder. So yeah, we're about to have fun times. The story... The blurb didn't tell me much really, but I like to go into games that I know I will play anyway, blind, for sure. So yeah, let's just begin. It was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. On this specific day, at this specific time, a funeral was being held. He was so young, how unfortunate. There would be many more Fridays, many more days where the clock would tick over to 2:37 p.m. Time would go on, whether one person was here or not. So much talent wasted. What did it mean to be alive? And what did it mean to be dead? His family must be devastated. What did it mean to exist? And when would the existential dread finally cease? A boy with brown hair sat in the corner, alone. To him, that coffin looked much too small. Much too small to hold a soul so large. Much too small to contain an entire existence with all of its history. Noah. Tomorrow, everyone else will go on living. Tomorrow, everyone else will forget. And if not tomorrow, then the next day. One day, everyone forgets. The brown-haired boy held tight to his chest. He would not forget. But even he could not convince himself of these words. How easy it was to spout platitudes while someone lay dead 10 feet away. I'm sorry. It was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. And on this Friday, a funeral was being held for 2. Prologue. The me that died all those years ago. Alone, confined within his prison, the man sits, his back slouched and his arm raised. In his hand, a paintbrush. A weapon in his eyes, perhaps. A tool. From it, life should flourish into every corner of a world, part imaginary, part very much real. Waves crash onto the white shores. The night sky reflects back on itself, a sea of stars amidst the swirling currents. All is calm, yet not. But, as it were, that world didn't exist. Couldn't exist. It would never exist. It could not be created by this hand. The man holds his paintbrush up to the empty canvas, blank, like many of the rest. Is it day or is it night? He does not know. Light doesn't belong in a place like this, after all. It has never belonged. He closes his eyes, waiting for it to appear. Something. Anything. A vision, a masterpiece, a muse, an apparition that would inspire his creativity. Anything at all. But nothing comes to him. Nothing comes without fail, without exception. Every stroke he laid against that impossibly bright white canvas was like a stain on his soul, a dirty mark on what should have been pristine. By his hand, all he could create was loneliness. Nothing belongs. Nothing would ever belong again, for he was broken. Time moves like this, unfailingly. An eternity passes, or what feels like it, as the clock slowly ticks away. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Never ending. But what is time to someone with no time left to give? His hand shakes. He cannot force it to paint, yet he cannot set his hand down either. Behind his closed eyes, he wards off the tiredness he can feel at the edge of his consciousness. Perhaps a dream would help him to paint. Perhaps if he simply allowed himself to be carried away in that star-filled ocean, inspiration would strike. Or perhaps it would take him away from this world and finally bring him peace. That's kind of an intense opening, like in a different way than if there was just a lot happening, if you know what I mean. And this music is beautiful. And the art as well so far. I mean, that whole intro, I've seen that before when they put it up as a trailer. Wow. Very impressed so far, but let's carry on. Yet he opened his eyes, denying the very thought. Anything but that. Anything but a dream. Was it fear, hate, disgust? No, it was more, much more. This was no base emotion. This was something far more deep, far more sinister. The minds of men were warped beyond recognition. Their being had become wholly evil. During the day, they wore masks to hide their intentions, but during the night, inside their dreams, the masks would fall. What was once pure and bright was now corrupt beyond repair. Noah, you need to stop this at once. You can't live off this, whatever these scribbles are meant to be. Imagine what people would say about me, about us. Why can't you be more like your brother? It's about time you grew up. You're not a kid anymore. Go throw all of your stupid little books out already and give this up. No, this is all I have. All I have left. This is all his fault. Look what he's done to our son. Please, I need something. Just one thing. Let me have just one. A letter laid addressed on the table, unopened. He lacked the courage to open it, too scared to read the words that would shape his life. His fingers, trembling, came ever closer, until the feel of the textured envelope brushed against his fingertips. It felt like life. It felt like the future. It felt like the one thing that could pull him out of the deep pit he'd found himself in, slowly being buried alive. He opened the envelope in one fell swoop. Words spread out across the page, perfectly ordered. He suddenly felt as if he lost the ability to read. In that dim light, he tried anyway. Dear Noah, it is with great pleasure that I inform you that you have been selected to receive the Copper Cove University of Art Excellence Scholarship. Each year, only one student is chosen statewide to receive the scholarship through a process of portfolio presentations, interviews, and recommendations from prior instructors. The Copper Cove Academy of Art Excellence Scholarship provides full tuition for your years at our school. Please note that students with the scholarship must be enrolled full-time and maintain a 3.5 grade point average to continue to receive their scholarship. Once again, I congratulate you on your selection for this great honor. We look forward to seeing you on campus. In front of his eyes, the letter turned to dust, floating away on the wind into that imaginary world. Memories of the past aimed towards him like daggers. They pierced his flesh, but that didn't matter anymore. He was used to it. In fact, he sometimes wondered if he enjoyed it now. The pain spread throughout his body, but at least he could finally feel something. His paintbrush, still tinged with color, stayed motionless against the canvas. Resisting the urge to yawn, he rubbed at his eyes with his bare hand. A ringing sounded through the darkness, echoing through the soulless house. No one was around to pick it up. No one except... Go away. It kept ringing and ringing, then ringing some more. And then it stopped. Until it began again. Go away. Noah clutched at his head, the ache only made worse by the constant sound that pierced his ears. He wanted to ignore it. Well, clearly. More than anything, he didn't want to answer the phone. But the caller was stubborn, and Noah easily irritated. He stood from his stool, dropping the paintbrush to the ground. It clacked against the wooden floor, paint flying across the planks. Just more added to the already growing collection. At this point, more paint was splattered over his house than there was on any canvas. Slowly, each step deliberate, he walked towards his phone. The model was old, the same one he'd had since he was a teenager. He looked at the number on the illuminated screen, but he didn't recognize it. Still, the ringing continued. I should just turn this stupid fucking thing off. Or put it on silent mode, you know? He stared at the screen, the light burning his eyes. And for some reason, he picked it up. Noah? Is that you? What do you want? How did you get this number? It's me, your dad. Can we talk? I answered the phone, didn't I? What do you want? Please, it's been so long. What do you want? Your mother has just passed away. Please, come to the funeral at least. Noah removed the phone from his ear and slid his finger along the screen. It went silent, the other person never to know what happened. Without a second thought, he switched the phone off and dropped it into the rubbish. So she's dead. His voice lacked any emotion. Whether this fact made him happy or sad, no one would be able to tell. He walked back towards his easel. On it, a still blank canvas waiting to be brought to life. He threw it to the ground in a heap with the rest of the abandoned masterpieces before sending his foot crashing down towards them, breaking them in half. One after another, he smashed them into pieces soundlessly. Not a word or a cry escaped his lips. Only a silent fury. Not at his mother's passing. Only aimed towards himself. Finished, but not feeling any more fulfilled, he dropped to the ground and curled into a ball. His eyelids felt heavier and heavier, until finally he found sleep. But even sleep wasn't so restful. Noah awoke to the sound of a key turning in the door, then the same door opening slowly. Footsteps started off slow before they sped up, coming directly towards him. But he didn't flinch or turn to look at who it was. If someone wants to kill me, let them. If they want to steal any of this shit, go for it. I don't care anymore. I don't care. So just let me die. Noah? What are you doing on the ground? Are you okay? Noah should have realized who it was, yet he somehow felt disappointed. Would have been better if it was someone here to kill me already. Go away. I'm resting. You have a perfectly good bedroom 1 room over. Come on, let me help you to bed. I don't want to. Just leave me already. Let me at least get you some water. Come on. Cain extended his hand to Noah, who stared back at it blankly. Cain was the same as he'd always been. Kind, dependable, hardworking. Charismatic, funny, popular. Everything he wasn't. With a sigh, he took Cain's hand and let himself be guided towards a seat. He fished out a bottle of water from his bag, obviously brought in preparation for the visit. Must be nice. Must be nice, living the kind of life where you buy bottled water. Noah took a sip, feeling the coolness make his throat hurt just a little bit less. Must have been a while since I last drank anything. I didn't notice. Guys, that's your cue. Hydrate. Drink some water, please. Noah. I gave you that spare key for emergencies, you know. I'd say this counts as an emergency, wouldn't you? Noah, this has to stop. You need to get some help. Get outside. I don't know, just... things need to change. You can't keep living like this. Noah angrily pulled away from Cain, a frown settling on his brow. No, nothing is to change. I'm fine the way I am. I didn't ask for your help, so stop butting into my life. You didn't need to. Look, this isn't like you. You didn't used to be like this, you know? He wouldn't want this for you either. You know that. Shut up. Don't bring him up. He was my best friend too. I'm allowed to talk about him. And I'm certain this isn't what he wants you to do. A silence spread out between them as both looked away from each other, searching for what to say. Between them was a gap that didn't used to be there once upon a time. How's your painting going? What does it look like to you? Noah shrugged, but continued when Cain stayed silent. I should just give up. There's no point anymore. I can't paint. I'm just wasting my time. Of course you can. I've seen you paint before. I know what you're capable of. Then why? Look around you. Why can't I do it anymore? It's too late. Everything feels dirty. There's nothing worth capturing left. I'm chasing a light that doesn't exist. But look, you have plenty of nice paintings around. Noah looked between them. They morphed in his mind, becoming too ugly to even glance at. They're nothing. Less than nothing. This is what the end feels like, I think. Wouldn't it be nice if the world just ended tomorrow? Maybe going out and experiencing some new things would help to spark your passion. Meeting someone new. Meeting new people would be good for you. There's no point. I'll die surrounded by my blank canvases, and then finally I'll have my only masterpiece. Noah. As if unsure about what to say, Kane found the remote and turned on the old, small TV. A news presenter, dressed impeccably, read out the news with so little emotion you would wonder if she really cared about the words leaving her mouth. Next up, we have some breaking news from directly on the scene. A number of bodies have been found with strange flower-like markings, first believed to be tattoos. Analysts say that no ink, pigment or burn marks are featured on the victims, which has ground the investigations to a halt until they can find out what these markings mean. Further proof that true art is found in death. Ugh. With a disgusted sound from deep in Kane's throat, he switched the TV off as if deciding that silence would be better. Is it pronounced Kane? I'm always tempted to pronounce it Kane because that's more the German one, but I'm unsure. I'll ask you one more time, okay? Please, let me help you. I don't want your help. I just want you to leave me alone and to stop coming here. We're friends, Noah. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want any friends. I don't deserve any. I don't want the only person left that matters to me to betray me too. Better if you just leave now. I'm not going anywhere. I promise. I told you to leave, not stay. As if on cue, Kane stood, producing another water bottle from his leather bag. He stepped closer and closer until he stood in front of a potted plant, the only bit of life left in the entire house. He watered it slowly, deep in thought. Make sure you look after this, alright? I can't stop by every day. I am. Good. Finished, Kane walked towards the door and opened it wide. Noah shielded his eyes from the sun. I just want to see you go back to your old self, alright? I want to help you. He doesn't exist. He shut the door with a soft thud. Once again, he was alone. How I prefer to be. Noah stood from his stool and wobbled as the room spun around him. His head still ached, and he could feel a deep hunger in the pit of his stomach. When was the last time I ate? Uneasy on his feet, he slowly found his way into the kitchen. Okay, that kitchen looks worse than mine. Congratulations. Noah's kitchen was as bare as ever. He hadn't ever used it really. Most of the time he'd order something to be delivered, or better yet, skip eating. His money was limited, and he'd always put his paint supplies over anything else. Noah reached up to open a cupboard, knowing full well it was bare, when he smelled something. Food. His eyes found a container left on his table with a small note. He picked it up. It read, "Enjoy. I'll bring some groceries around soon. Kane." He wondered for a moment whether he should accept it or not, but eventually his stomach won out against his stubbornness, and he sat down at his dining table alone to eat it. Okay, the guy brought us food. We already know who we're dating. Oh boy. While he sat, he thought. He really hated it when he thought. How easily he can just come and go, when I'm stuck in here, like a corpse in a coffin, buried alive. But what of it? I don't care anymore. That sunlight that I haven't seen for years, it suits him, not me. My friends, my family, all fake. Twisted, corrupted. Just like me. Nothing is pure. Nothing. Except... He brought the fork to his lips, slowly nibbling at the home-cooked food Kane had brought. Still a good cook. He really does have everything going for him these days. Suddenly he froze, a terror crawling over him. His head throbbed and his stomach lurched. Then he fell. His fork dropped to the table, abandoned. The world spun around him until it disappeared, spinning, spinning, filling his body with a dread oh so familiar. He squeezed his eyes shut, begging silently for this to stop. He didn't want to be here. He wanted to be home. But when he peeked out of his tightly shut eyes, his home was long gone. His surroundings were still blurred around him, and his body felt as if it were being ripped in all directions, as if at any moment he would be torn into shreds. But he wasn't. And he knew this feeling well. With a thump that didn't reflect how long he'd been falling, he hit the ground. When he opened his eyes again, he saw darkness all around him. Not a human darkness, but a darkness that was something more. Something sinister, something threatening. A place no one belonged. Noah quickly got to his feet and checked himself over. No injuries. His eyes darted around the bleak, dark landscape. Nothing stood out to him. No one awaited him. This isn't what it's usually like. What's going on? I want to go home. Please. I just want to go home. Every introvert ever. But he knew full well what was required of him. His footsteps were slow and careful before speeding up in desperation, searching for the person who could free him from his nightmare. He walked and walked, then walked some more until his feet ached with deep blisters. Yet he still walked, because the alternative wasn't something he wanted to face. Behind him, nothing. In front of him, nothing. If he was walking in circles, he wouldn't have known. His feet ground to a halt when he finally saw something. Or someone. A man, curled up into a ball, sitting in the distance. Darkness surrounded him, threatening to take over his very essence. The man looked up. His eyes were hollow, filled with sadness. Their eyes locked. My father? Why would I be brought here? How? His mind raced as he tried to come up with any reason, any excuse. The man called out to him, but his words were lost in the shadows, never to be heard. Noah, still frozen, couldn't decide whether he should approach him or run away. His heart yelled at him to run, to put as much distance between them as possible. But his mind saw his only ticket out of here. Before he could make a decision, a dark mist started to roll in from a place unseen. It spiraled and spiraled, twisting and turning until someone stepped out of it. Another person, surrounded by shadows. His steps were slow, but not careful. Deliberate, perhaps. With purpose. He approached the curled-up man with his heavy steps. Suddenly, the man's voice traveled to Noah. Noah, I want my son. Please, give me my son back. The shadowy man raised his arm. In his hand, what looked like a gun. There was no hesitation, no pause. Just a single shot through the head. The curled-up man dropped to the ground, his body evaporating into the mist. The world shook around them. Mountains of shadows came crashing down. The whole world threatened to cease existence in a mere moment. Noah's eyes darted around, searching for a place to escape to, when he finally looked back towards the man with the gun. And as the world came crashing down around him, he swore that the shadowy figure was looking right back at him too. An empty, eternal darkness. Why is darkness always seen as cold anyway? If anything, Noah felt like he was surrounded by an intense heat. It was too much, too overwhelming. He thought that at any second he'd burst into flames. But nothing happened to him, even if he wished for it. Something soft wrapped around his shoulders, holding him tight. He should have been scared, but instead the pressure felt welcoming. When he opened his eyes again, he was sitting. Noah sat in front of his easel, his hand poised over the canvas. His hands were covered in a splattering of paint. It cracked over his skin, already dry. The darkness that surrounded him suddenly felt light after the place he'd escaped. Noah paused in surprise, his eyes glued to his canvas. On it, a painting of pure darkness. A reflection of a dream. How could this be? I wasn't here. At first he wondered how. Then why? before his mind settled on an answer that didn't answer anything. It's perfect. At some point, the brush had dropped from his hand and landed on the floorboards. Just another splatter amongst a sea of color. He couldn't look away. He wouldn't. Not when this was everything he'd been waiting for. This is it. Jumping to his feet, he lifted the painting from its place and carefully put it to the side. Who would have thought? That which I detest would create my finest piece yet. And all it took was a single dream. He sat back on a stool and slumped forward, deep in thought. Wait, so was he like sleepwalking and sleep painting? I'm also, I have no idea how supernatural we're getting with this, but like considering that news report, that wasn't there for no reason, right? So, very, very curious, very curious. My dad let me stay up all night playing. You've got to get it. As if my parents would let me skip out on studying to play games. You won the parent lottery. You can just say you're studying and stay over at my place then. Oh man, really? I'm down for that. Kane leaned over Noah's desk, talking and laughing as he usually did. Noah sat lazily, kicking his feet against the legs of the desk, not worried about whether it would annoy anyone else in the room. It was an early morning, a few months into semester. Noah had settled into his routine by now, walking to school with Kane, chatting until the bell rang, then wasting the day away until he could go home. Of course, there was more to it than that. Studying, tutoring, pressure from his parents, but all in all, nothing ever shook him up. He was comfortable, but bored. Hey, I heard something interesting. What now? Apparently, someone's moving into our class. What? At this time of the year? No way, they'd never catch up with the workload. No, for real. My dad said so, and your dad's on the board of directors. Yeah, you say it every time. Do you think it'll be a cute girl? Too cute for you, that's for sure. Ouch, my heart. It's fine. You're the only one I need. Kane fluttered his eyelashes, putting on a voice so clingy that Noah physically recoiled. Ew. Hopefully it's a guy so I can make a new best friend. I think something's wrong with mine. You can try. Who else would be able to put up with you? Step, step, step. The door opened as someone walked carefully to the front of the room and behind the desk. The teacher, Mr. Floyd, stood in front of the classroom before clapping his hands. All right, take your seats. I have some exciting news today. The class chattered endlessly as the students did as they were told. An excited buzz spread through the room. As some of you may have heard, we have a new student joining our class today. He's just moved here from interstate, so make sure to help him if he gets lost with anything. So, a boy. Guess Kane was wrong about that one. Noah leaned his elbows against the desk, resting his head in his hands. For some reason, he didn't find himself all that interested. Anyway, I'll let him introduce himself. You can come in now. A pause. No one opened the door. For a few moments, anyway. Slowly, the door opened wide, and someone stepped in. Noah sat up in his seat, his eyes locked on the boy that entered. Blonde hair and deep green eyes. He didn't hesitate any longer. He stepped in front of the class with the brightest smile Noah had ever seen. I feel like I know these intros by heart now. It's nice to meet you all. My name's August and I've just moved here with my dad. Actually, we move around every couple of months, so I've been to around 7 schools already. A few students gasped in surprise, hanging on to every word he said. Rather than sounding like a well-rehearsed speech, his words flowed naturally and calmly, without a single nerve to be heard. It certainly did seem like he was used to making such introductions. Still, I hope we'll be staying here a while longer. At least enough time to get to know you all. August is a pretty name. I thought it would be a girl with a name like that. What does your dad do? He's a photographer, so he's always traveling and moving. I had the option of staying behind with my grandparents, but I decided to go with him. Whoa, so awesome. I wish I could travel that much. What else to say about me? I like sunsets and long walks on the beach. The room exploded in laughter, but Noah couldn't even manage a giggle. Something about the boy captivated him, caught his gaze, and held it there. He was afraid if he even moved a muscle, the boy would disappear. And so he stared silently. Alright, enough of the dating app intro. Make sure you all make August welcome and show him... Make sure you all make August feel welcome and show him around later, okay? Go take a seat. There's a spot free over there, next to Noah. Of course. Noah waved meekly, and August did the same in return before taking his seat. Whatever was said for the rest of the class, Noah didn't know. He twirled his pencil between his fingers, his workbook abandoned. His elbow rested against his desk as he snuck glances towards August's profile. Every now and then, he would shift, making Noah jump and look away. His profile is almost pretty. He continued staring at the boy. Well, not even almost. It is pretty. With that thought in mind, August's eyes finally met Noah's. Noah froze, unsure if he should quickly look away and pretend he hadn't been staring, or if he should just smile and act natural. Eventually, August decided for him. He smiled brightly, tilting his head at the same time. Noah awkwardly smiled back before looking away, his heart racing. Only a few moments later, a folded piece of paper slid onto his desk. Noah looked at it in surprise, then back to August, who simply raised a finger to his lips in a shh motion. You're Noah, right? It's nice to meet you. I hope we can be friends. Smiley. Cute. He put a nose on his smiley face. It's kind of old school. He wrote his return message carefully on the other side, unsure of what exactly to say. Yeah, nice to meet you too, August. Looks like we'll be stuck together this year. Why did I do it too? So lame. When Mr. Floyd turned his back, Noah quickly scrunched up the paper and tossed it towards August, who meticulously flattened out the screwed-up ball and read the message. Done reading, August propped his elbow up on the desk and rested his chin in his hand, copying Noah's posture, and smiled towards him. Noah's mind went blank, and the rest of the lesson passed in a blur until the bell for lunch suddenly rang. Only when Kane was standing over his desk, waving a hand in front of his face, did he snap out of it. He got it bad, huh? Hello, Earth to Noah? You there? Right. Yeah, is it time for a break already? Yeah. And Mr. Floyd called on you twice and you didn't say a word. Are you feeling alright? Yeah, I'm fine, just feeling a little out of it. What do you think of the new guy? What? Noah's cheeks felt hot at the sudden question. Why? I don't know, just making conversation. He seems nice. Has a nice smile too. Right. Well, I guess we should go greet him too. Wanna go over now? No, I mean, I'm sure he has a bunch of other people hanging around him right now. Wouldn't want to crowd him. The rest of the classroom was empty. Everyone else had already cleared out, either to eat or chat with friends. August had obviously been pulled along to have a tour with the other classmates. Yeah, seems like he'll be a little hard to get a hold of. Later then. Wanna go get something to eat? I brought food, so I might just eat here. Whoa, you sharing? Don't be stupid. Your lunches are way better than mine. What can I say? I'm something of a chef de cuisine. Noah laughed in response before pulling out his lunchbox. In it, a sandwich and a few other snacks. Compared to the luxurious meal Kane had cooked for himself, it was nothing. Actually, you can just give me some of yours. You know I'm always happy to share with you. Kane gave Noah a warm smile. He might play around, but Noah knew that Kane would probably do anything for him. The door suddenly rattled and opened. Noah put his sandwich down and turned, just in time to see someone walk towards him. The boy from earlier. August. He sat at his desk quietly, minding his own business. Kane looked towards him, then back to Noah, motioning for him to speak up. You okay? Oh, just a little tired. I thought I could probably hide in here for a little bit. My name's Noah, which I guess you kinda already knew. And this is Kane. You wanna eat lunch with us? Is it really okay? Of course, the more the merrier. August turned his chair around with that same bright smile. You got dragged around everywhere by the girls. I think they showed me every inch of the school, which I'm happy about, don't get me wrong. I'm just a little exhausted. I liked your introduction, by the way. What a stupid thing to say. God, I'm so lame. Ah, really? He laughed a little before looking down. I was a little nervous, honestly. It's hard coming in front of new people and talking about yourself. I'm not really that interesting, so I always have to build myself up to do that. You certainly broke the ice. You're gonna fit in well around here, I can tell. Thank you. I really hope so. I'm so tempted to just wait a bit to hear the music. It's also kind of unusual to have lyrics, really, in a game like this, for background music here. Isn't it? His voice was gentle and calming. He had an air around him of brightness. I'm gonna go buy a drink. You two want anything? Just the usual. Do you want me to come? Nah, you can wait here. August? Oh, then can I have just the usual too? Noah could feel that gentle smile directed at him all throughout his body. Got it. Kane left the room and it was suddenly silent. Noah tapped his fingers uncharacteristically, wondering what he should say, what he could say to fill the silence between them. Psst. What's the usual, by the way? Just a cola. Phew, I wanted to sound cool, but if it was coffee, I would have made an embarrassment out of myself. Ah, yeah. Noah's fingers tapped against the book that sat in front of him as he searched for something to talk about. School. Too boring. Where he lived before here. I bet everyone's already asked him that. What's that? August pointed towards the book under Noah's fingers, his eyes filled with wonder. Oh, that. It's just something stupid. Don't worry. Now I'm really interested. Can I see? You really want to see? If it's okay with you? It's a little embarrassing. That's okay. I think everyone gets embarrassed about the things they make sometimes. Because it means so much to you. Feeling shy about his work, he handed the sketch pad over to him. Inside was a plethora of drawings, sketches and paintings of anything and everything that had caught Noah's attention at one point or another. For once he was glad he hadn't drawn anything that day, lest August find a drawing of himself. You drew all of these? Yeah. Sorry, I said it was stupid. These are amazing! They're so beautiful! No, they're just... You have so much talent! His eyes were filled with so much wonder that Noah couldn't help but respond in earnest. I actually want to become an artist. I know it sounds dumb, but... Amazing! You're really amazing. You'll be a fantastic artist, I can tell. Have you ever tried painting? Oh, I haven't. I can hide these sketchbooks at home, but I think my family might notice if I brought an easel. Why would that matter? They don't really like me doing art. Well, I think you would be really good at painting. Your drawings are so beautiful. I'm really bad at painting though, and drawing, and pretty much anything else art related. Maybe we could try it together? Noah blurted out the first thing that came into his head before instantly regretting it. However, he responded in earnest. That sounds really fun. I'll take you up on that offer. Noah found himself struggling to reply to that sincerity, unused to anyone being interested. The door opened again and Kane stepped in. His eyes wandered from August's warm smile to the tinge of red on Noah's cheeks before he frowned. Pushing that to the side, he smiled again and set the drinks down on Noah's desk. Got them. Enjoy. Thank you. I'll pay for them next time, I promise. It's no problem, don't worry. We can just force Noah to pay anyway. Hey! So, you just moved here, right? Whereabouts is your house? Not far from here. I think it's Fielding Avenue. I'm still wrapping my head around the street names. Both Noah and Kane looked towards each other, blinking in surprise. Number 42? How'd you know? That's the place next door to me. The people living there did move out a few weeks ago. I had no clue. I guess we're neighbors both at school and home then. Maybe we could walk home together? I mean, if you're not busy. Yeah, I'd like that. I mean, it's probably the safer option too. I might get lost otherwise. My dad always told me that if you dropped somewhere in the middle of the woods with a broken compass and half a map, they'd still have a better time finding their way out of there than I would. Feeling bad. The bell rang again, signaling the end of lunch. August shuffled back to his desk while Kane gathered his things. Oh. Next to him, August dug through his pile of books before frowning. I think I left my math textbook at home. Mr. Floyd laughed, waving his hand in a carefree manner. You can share with Noah for today. Try to remember for next time. Yes, sir. August carefully dragged his table and chair closer to Noah's until the two were sitting shoulder to shoulder. Alright, everyone open your textbooks to page... Oh god, why did I leave it here last time? Go on, say it, Mr. Floyd. Open your textbooks to page 69 and we'll resume our previous lesson on trigonometry. Some kids in the class snickered and giggled. Usually, Noah would at least glance towards Cain with a smirk, but this time he was completely frozen in place. August leaned his head close to Noah's, his blonde hair hanging down in front of his glasses. He carefully pushed the loose strands behind his ear as he read the textbook carefully. Mr. Floyd's voice faded into the distance as Noah's concentration on triangles wavered. He only snapped back to reality when August mumbled something under his breath. Math might be the death of me. You don't know how to do this? Don't laugh, but I usually only just manage to pass my math tests. I promise I'm better at my other subjects. Do you want to work together on these then? Noah tapped the problems in the textbook with the end of his pencil. Really? Thanks, Noah. Noah. Somehow the name sounded just right, rolling off of his tongue. Boy, you got it so bad. Noah swallowed hard, then finally pulled his eyes away from the blonde boy. I need to concentrate. So, if we have the adjacent and the hypotenuse, I don't know how to pronounce that in English. August stared down at his workbook, where he'd copied down the problems and had begun working on them. Then Noah reached over, wanting to write something beside August's neat handwriting. Noah barely stopped himself from pulling back as their hands brushed against each other. Oh, that makes much more sense than the way I was taught. Thank you, Noah. I think I get it now. No problem. Noah pulled his hand back, awkwardly fidgeting with his pencil. The rest of the day was much like the beginning, a complete and utter blur. For some reason, Noah couldn't get that smile out of his head. Yet at the same time, the thought of it made him nervous. What's wrong with me now? As the clock ticked down second by second until the bell would ring to signal they could go home, the butterflies in Noah's stomach took flight. He tapped his pencil against his desk nervously with a frown. This is stupid. It's not like me to be nervous about anything. Sorry. He's just another guy anyway. It's not like I'm walking home with a girl. Oh, sweet summer child. Beside him, August didn't take any note of Noah's actions. And like him, August had actually been working through the tasks. Is there something you want to say, or are you just tapping your pencil repeatedly for fun, Noah? Mr. Floyd's voice was light-hearted, and Noah knew instantly he was just joking around, yet his face still went a deep shade of red. No, nothing, Mr. Floyd. When the bell finally sounded for class to end, August was instantly surrounded by people. He struggled between them to move his desk back to where it came from. Cain found his way back over to Noah's desk with a laugh, glancing at the huge crowd. He kinda looked like he'd be shy and quiet, but he seems fine even when he's surrounded by people, huh? In the center of that gathering, August smiled and chatted away as if it were only natural. Yeah. So, why don't we walk around in the city? I can show you around. Oh, actually, I need to go home and unpack. Next time. Then how about we walk home together? Thank you, but I'm actually walking home with Noah. It turns out we're neighbors. Aw, I'm so jealous. You don't want to spend too much time around him anyway. You're way too nice for him. He's kinda a jerk. Wow. Noah froze at the comment. It's true that he wasn't particularly close to his other classmates, but he had no reason to become friends with them all. He had Kane. Thanks for the compliment, but I think he's probably nicer than I am. Also, I don't think it's nice to talk about people behind their backs. Anyway, I need to go. Thank you for showing me around earlier. August waved them off before joining Kane by Noah's desk. Shall we leave then? Do you live nearby as well? Just across the road, actually. Amazing! This is like fate meeting you two. Yeah, right, fate. Noah stood from his seat and gathered his things, dropping his art book into his backpack. With everything tucked neatly away, they left the school. I think that's where I'm going to stop it for today, just because it's kinda late for me. But that's already quite the change from how the game started. Huh. Yeah, very curious, and I mean, I think this is no coincidence that we're starting with this very bleak setting and then going back here in the memory flashback where everything was still good, or most things. I mean, we already know now that Noah's parents, yeah, I'm not thrilled about him doing art, if he already, like if he even has to hide it. Yeah, interesting start so far. No choices yet, which I find kind of surprising, but also, I mean, if you want to tell a certain story, that's fine with me as well. Yeah, let me know what you think so far. Drop the comments down below. As always, I have the demo link down there if you want to try it for yourself. But yeah, I will continue this next time. Thank you for watching. Until then, bye bye!